It's Veganuary, a month expected to pass the 2 million milestone of vegans for the first time. But whilst we are eating less meat, we're producing more. Global demand is exploding. With the cost of living rising, people are demanding quantity at the cheapest possible price, and that means more animals being reared in intensive systems. And now this is hitting the courts. In what they say is a world first, campaigners will seek judicial review of what they claim are the dangers of rearing animals intensively. Specifically two things: zoonosis, that's diseases which spread from animals to humans, and the growing resistance to antibiotics. Alice Broff is one of the claimants, and she used to be a pig vet, but left because of concerns about the conditions she was witnessing.
Just the sheer volume of animals generally in one space, breathing the same air, the unhygienic conditions, that close human-animal interface, the fact that the animals are very stressed and more susceptible to disease in the first place means that there's so much opportunity for disease to emerge, mutate and spread between a population and then pass to us.
We live in an age when zoonotic diseases are emerging globally at an unprecedented rate. Ebola, SARS, AIDS and of course COVID. Some scientists now believe farming systems which crowd animals together in poor conditions could simply be a giant global petri dish, potentially allowing disease to mutate and spread to humans.
Because there are so many livestock on Earth, we have to think seriously about the organisms that live on them, that are potentially pathogenic. We are talking about two today that are existential threats to humanity. One of them is the emergence of pathogens, okay, zoonotic pathogens. We know about this now because of COVID. The other is the rise of antimicrobial resistance.
That is resistance to antibiotics. Professor Shepherd's finding that if animals across the world are kept in certain conditions, disease rates increase, alongside bacteria resistant to treating with antibiotics.
There will come a point where a simple infection of our tooth can't be treated by antibiotics.
A study last week revealed antimicrobial or antibiotic resistance is now killing 3,500 people every day globally.
The National Farmers Union says antibiotic use in British farming has fallen 75% in just the last decade, and it's now one of the lowest levels in Europe. Moreover, the standards of animal welfare across British farming are widely accepted to be amongst the best in the world.
The government says our biosecurity measures are robust, British animal welfare standards high, whichever system they're kept in. They work closely with farmers to promote good flock management and husbandry practices, all of which underlines then the need for a global approach.
We've been really ahead of the field in many areas. I think where farmers are really worried now is that if we up standards even further, which is what I want to see, then they may be undercut by cheaper products coming in from countries which don't have those high standards.
After COVID, the world is re-examining the spread of zoonotic diseases from animals to humans, how we're coming into closer contact through destroying ever more of their habitat, and how we farm them for food. It's all part of a wider look at possible sources for the next pandemic.
In recent years, we calculated out of 175 infectious health hazards that have emerged in these last decades, 75% are zoonotic.
And of course, the problem of antibiotic resistance is growing. The overuse of antibiotics in farming is making some bugs that infect humans resistant to antibiotics.
When you have large numbers of animals living in a limited space, they can be stressed and maybe living in poor health conditions. They would be more susceptible to disease or microbial contamination and would need more antimicrobial treatments, which may eventually lead to antimicrobial resistance in human pathogens.
Tomorrow, the UK High Court will decide if intensive farming's impact on human health needs scrutiny. Regardless of the outcome, this marks an important signal across the world where animal husbandry is often far more brutal.